as a father, really as a man, try to leave something behind. So when the world's done with you, when your time on earth is gone, try to leave it a better place than what you found it. For one, leave your knowledge. That's all you can do. You know, don't take comfort in all the material things. Um, and fake money and all this other. All that stuff doesn't matter. You can't take it with you, and a lot of times you can't leave it.
Mm.
So and it doesn't. It compares nothing to the knowledge and that you can leave and your time as a human being for your family, for your kids. You
Mhm.
know, I guarantee you, if you were to ask your kid, would you rather have your dad here still or the money that he left you? That he would say, I'd rather have my dad here.
Mhm.
You know,
This is the Best Dash Collective, a podcast where we talk about real people, real lives, and all the wins and losses that come in that little dash between birth and death. Oh, well, maybe so. All right.
got to hold something short.
Well, maybe something was in the air yesterday. All right, welcome, guys, fans, friends, family, to another episode of the Best Dash Collective. I'm Houston Blackwood for those that I've not met yet. This is a fun conversation. My best good friend, my other best good friend got me this shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, it's the same guy. It was
Same
you.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was old Jeremy Huff. We call him, in his professional role, he was the maintenance senior chief for the United States Navy. And that's about all the script I got. But so I appreciate you coming to the another recording of the Best Dash Collective, and
Thank you for bringing me here.
yeah, it's just for transparency to the listening audience. This is the second run because the first time we did this, I didn't know what I was doing, and the lighting was bad, and I didn't capture all your prettiness.
Well, you got to have some better lighting for
Well,
that.
I upgraded, and the sound was not good because I didn't know what I was doing. So,
Maybe
uh,
involve AI a little bit with it.
well,
Make me
make you pretty,
make me pretty.
make you Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. I feel Puerto Rican with this.
Gosh, man, um,
That owns me.
every
that little
every time,
that rooster.
every time.
Chicken, whatever it is.
Well, it's good. I'm glad you're here. So you know, my work show is always like, "Hey, who are you? Where'd you come from? How'd you get here?" And a lot of the audience is going to know you, but they probably don't know all the background. And I said before, like you, I think are the only person I know that grew up in the state of Washington, and I think the only person that grew up on the West Coast. So that's really cool. Even though it turns out you ended up in Alabama anyway. So
Sure enough.
give us all a quick rundown of who Jeremy Huff is, where he came from, and the Cliff's notes of how he got here.
Uh, yeah, I grew up Washington State, um, via Corinth, Mississippi, and Aaron, Tennessee. My dad got a job. He was with the TVA. Papa got a job with TVA, and then he got a job with Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers in Washington State. Chief Joseph Dam, as a matter of fact, in Bridgeport, Washington.
Okay.
Um, which I found out is in the Guinness Book of World Records today. I did not
Why?
know that. I just found out. It's the longest uh, run of the river hydroelectric power plant, whereas it just uses the river's current to generate power. It's not forced or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
It's a mile long. We used to do a 1 mile run across that dam when I was a kid growing up.
That's a damn
Called
long run.
it's called that damn run. So anyway, that was my little side note. Just found out, but yeah, grew up small farm town, wheat fields, apple orchards. That's what I did. Usually in the summers, um, did that, and I graduated and went to Spokane. It's the closest big city to us. Um, Played around with college for a few months, and then decided to join the Navy. Um, we talked about that last time. It was I'd seen some Navy commercials, and then I'd watch Top Gun, and one day was listening to watching Beavis and Butthead, um, and I think a Navy commercial came on, and we talked about the shenanigans going on during that time. Typical college kid. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go join the Navy. Next day, I went down to the recruiter's office.
What year was that?
That was 93.
93. Okay.
93. Graduated in summer 93. Joined the very towards the end, the fall of 93 was when I got to boot camp in November of 93.
Okay.
So,
Let's go back to that the geography of Washington State. We've talked about this before, just casually, but like people think Washington State, they think the Pacific Northwest, that it's all like that. But give us a rundown of what it's like, because you mentioned the wheat fields and apple orchards, and that sounds idyllic. Like
yeah,
to run through an apple orchard in a wheat field.
I mean it's pretty. So people are right when they think Pacific Northwest. They're Washington, Oregon, Idaho. The coastal side is all what you think. The green Washington, Oregon coast. Lush trees. Dark like black rocks. Uh, just stereotypical what you
Yeah.
would think. Now, what changes that state is the Cascade Mountain Range. So the other side of the Cascades, where I grew up, the eastern side, it is more uh, deserty type.
Okay.
So it's a little drier climate.
Arid is the
Arid,
word.
that's the word. Yeah, arid climate.
When you say that, you got to put your pinky in the air.
It's more.
Well, if you're drinking coffee and saying words like
It
that,
was
you got to
the
say
arid
it's arid.
climate.
There you go.
Pause
See,
for
that's how you
effect.
do it. Just that's how the climatologists say it. Stupid. I'm stupid. Anyway.
So, and then you get down, the rivers. I grew up the Columbia River Valley area, which is now a big, for the wine drinkers out there, it's a huge wine area. Like Chateau Saint Michel and all those wines are all from that area.
Do you think they ever have wine mixers out there?
They have to have wine mixers. If they don't, I'm moving back there and I'm going to start my own.
Okay.
Just got to come up with a cool name.
If there was a
It's
cool
got to
name
match Catalina wine mixer.
That's so good.
How do you top that?
You can't. We can't. So all right. So okay, cool.
And
So
then as you kind of go in, you get up on the mountain, usually on the like the mountaintops and the higher elevations, kind of out of the towns. A lot of wheat fields out there. And then same with the apple orchards. There, apple orchards cover a huge part of the hillsides out there. Yeah, but I was small school, small town. My buddy's dad managed one of those orchards, so I worked there summers. Another friend of ours, or friend of my family's, I guess, he owned a wheat field, and I worked for him. Just general stuff, driving some of the big old tractors and cultivating, disking, stuff like that.
That's the same stuff we did here, which is interesting to me because in Alabama we had cows and hay. We didn't cut our own hay, but we hauled hay from everywhere in North Alabama. And so I remember walking through the fescue fields and being at that time waist high on me.
Yeah.
And we cut it and you haul it, and so that's what was so interesting to me is that it sounds like you grew up the same way I did, just a continent apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
really. That's cool.
So you did it. Were you knee high to a grasshopper?
I'm sure at some point, yeah. When I was back before the war.
Always a funny saying.
Back before
the war.
Okay, so you flash forward out of the wheat fields and out of the apple orchards, and then you're watching Beavis and Butthead. And was there something specific that like Beavis or Butthead said that you're like, you know what, I probably should stop listening to them and go join? Go do something better with my life.
Those guys are philosophers, man. Just full of great information. And no, it was a commercial that came on, and it was the Top Gun kind of mystique was still. I mean, it came out mid '80s, but even through the early '90s, today it's still a huge movie. So, I'd already kind of had that in my head.
Okay.
And then watching it, you think Tom Cruise and all those Iceman and all them, they're in their dress whites, their choker whites at the graduation from Top Gun. And, I thought I was going to go in, that was just a uniform. We're just going to walk around in that stuff all day long. That was,
That's not how it
That was
went.
like super cool. No, nothing
Oh,
like that. As a matter
oh,
of fact, I didn't even get to wear that uniform until halfway through my career. So,
why?
because well, I was enlisted, so you got to make chief E7
Oh, okay,
to get that uniform. So,
okay,
um, it was a few years before I did that.
yeah. So before the Navy, before you went to the Navy, you didn't have kids
No,
at that point. Okay, so you get there. Where were you stationed first time in the Navy?
Norfolk, Virginia, on the USS Theodore Roosevelt.
Really?
Yep,
Is it still in service?
it is. Yep,
It's
sure
just,
is.
it's just coming back, right?
It's West Coast. I mean, they go into the yards for periods of time for overhauls, and every 20 years or so. Uh, I believe it's West Coast now. It was East Coast at the time for a long time.
But no, I was saying, like, did it recently came back from deployment?
Oh, wow.
I
Don't get me
think.
lying, man. I don't know if it was them or the Ford. I think the Ford just came back.
Oh,
I think it was might have been the Ford that was out there for almost a year, which is
okay. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, one of them
that's
was there
crazy.
forever.
I did 9 months, and that was enough to want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
I've got a few friends who were in the Navy, and I think some were on boats for a long time or different things. What's it like being on that kind of a floating city?
man, it's hard to explain. I mean, it is large. It's very large. It's the flight deck's 3 football fields long. Um, however many, like 90 feet ish from the water line. Um,
That's yeah.
yeah, so it's big, and then you're walking through down they call them P-ways, passageways.
Hmm.
You got like on the O3 level, front to back, pretty much the whole length. But you're walking through, they call them knee knockers.
Yeah.
So it's cutouts. A lot of it's for water. There's certain distance up from the ground. Because if like a flooded hallway or something like that keeps it in a compartment. They're better now than they used to be. The older ships, you really got to step up, got to high
Okay.
knees to get through them. But um, that's how you walk around. Uh, your sleeping quarters, we call them rack. Your rack is a coffin locker, so it's just big enough basically for you to lay in. And you got probably from if you're laying on your back from your nose to the other one is probably about that much room maybe,
You
but
get
enough to
claustrophobic?
barely turn.
Oh gosh.
I mean I didn't always try to get the top rack because it's open to the ceiling,
Hmm.
so it's not as much like privacy I guess you'd say, but I could set up, whereas the middle and the bottom rack you can't do that.
That makes sense. What about I always thought so. Aside here, I was in Germany one time. The last time I went, and we were way down in Munich, and it was out in the country. Then there was like one street light 3 miles away, so there's no light pollution,
Mm.
and there were no street lights or house lights. They turned everything off, and I went out there at night because we had been eating German food and drinking lots of German beer, and everybody was in the house was farting, and it was hot, and there was no fan. It was like
I heard
that's
about that. Yeah.
anyway. It was just like still and quiet and smelly and hot, and so I walked outside and I didn't put my contacts back in, but I went out by the pool and I laid down and I looked up and there was gorgeous stars. Like,
Mm.
and I think probably something I would have never comprehended seeing, and I always thought that's what it would be like on a ship.
It is. Yeah.
So, like, did y'all ever go completely dark and then y'all were able to walk out on the deck?
Yeah, yeah, we especially and I've worked on the flight deck, so I was up there all the time. And I work nights a lot for respot after flight ops as well. So uh I mean there'd be times you're waiting on a something from one jet to move it somewhere else, or you had some dead time, and we would lay like on the tractors, or you know depending on the weather we'd just lay down on the flight deck. If it was
Hmm.
cold outside, lay on the by the cat track where it's steam, keep you warm, and just look up. If they were doing darkened ship, which we couldn't move jets during darkened ship, they do drills, so they'd shut all the lights down on the flight deck, um, to what they call salt lights, and they were just like dim yellow lights
Yeah, I've
because
seen
that
them.
it doesn't travel, you know. Um, that's and it's dark, man, and you see different galaxies. I mean, you see stars that you didn't even know existed, and I've never seen them since. But
Yeah.
you get out the Atlantic Ocean, You know, the skies look different than like the Arabian Gulf now. It was Persian Gulf at the
Yeah.
time. You know, the Adriatic, the
Hmm.
all that Strait of Hormuz.
Okay. Bogus words here.
Yeah.
Boogeyman words.
Mhm.
So what about like crossing down into like the southern south, south? What do you call it? Southern hemisphere. My goodness,
Yeah. So I
south of the
yep,
equator.
I did that.
Sorry.
I crossed that shellback. You know, the
Yeah.
whole shellback. They do a little hazing ceremony. Uh, I went down. I've been down, you know, across it a couple times. Went around the Horn, call it
Of
the
Africa.
Indian Ocean. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I got to do that. We did that daytime for the most part, and I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of like a aircraft carrier where or any ship where the front end of the ship is pointing down and there's waves crashing over the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Yes,
Really.
I got to watch that one time. I think I was up in the island somewhere looking, and when we were rocking and rolling, and it was just coming around that horn. The water, it's really bad.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and you'd see, like I said, 90 feet up in the air, and you got waves crashing over the
Holy
top. The ship's
cow.
just doing this.
An aircraft carrier
Yep.
is
So
bobbing like that.
they put as many jets packed in the hangar bay as possible. Close the doors. And then all the rest that are on the flight deck, they kind of group them to the center of the ship up on the flight deck
Yeah.
and chain the crap out of them. So keep them from
Wow.
rolling.
So,
Yeah,
you hear occasionally of like planes falling off of a ship.
I've
Did you ever just run one off or let it fall
no
off?
no I worked with a guy who backed one over. They call it the scupper. It's over, you know, where the water drains off the flight deck into these scuppers, and then it drains down off the ship. And then on the other side of that, it's a catwalk where you walk in, you know, and you go into the ship.
Yeah.
He backed one uh, off the, you know, the kind of where the scupper is. There's called light lockers, and you step down onto them to go down the steps to go right back around and underneath into the ship,
Yeah.
the door. So they used to have cutouts in the scuppers for that. All the ships did. Well, he ran one on the top of that, and it landed, and it had a live JDAM
Oh my
bomb
gosh.
on resting on the scupper, and yeah, he's famous now because they've since that happened, all of them have that cutout filled in with the iron, you know, so
Oh
it's
wow.
all one continuous scupper, and you just got to step over it.
That's crazy.
So
So
he's famous for having that.
you get a ship, you get a plane hanging kind of off a ship, sitting on a missile, a
Mhm.
bomb. How do you get that off?
Uh, that one we had to crane it off. So they've got this giant mobile crane, call it Tilly,
Hmm.
big giant sucker, and it'll, you know, drive up there and do all the crane stuff and lift it back up.
Oh, okay. Where does it live the rest of the time?
It's parked right at the backside of the island, so
Oh,
kind of
okay.
out of the way.
You know, they never show that on
Never
the
did.
TV.
So watch now. If you see a aircraft carrier video picture in a movie, you should see a big yellow, you know, mobile crane, big tractor looking thing.
That's all I'm looking for now.
Yep.
You know, they should do a movie like Cars or Fire and Rescue
Hmm.
about Navy ships, and
Well, it
that
was. Remember, he was on one in planes. Remember, he got lost and had to land on that Navy ship, that
what?
carrier.
But did the crane? Oh no, I mean like the cranes are like they should do one called Cranes
Oh,
or Heavy Lift or something, you know,
yeah,
and they all come and unite and like save the world from
yeah.
something.
Well, it could
Okay,
happen.
well we're digressing. All right, so in the Navy, let's talk about like at some point, fatherhood came along.
Mhm.
Was that before the Navy, after the Navy?
It was so I was in for 3 years, got out for 3 years, did reserves
Yeah.
in Mississippi, Corinth, Mississippi. Moved there, did my reserves at Millington in
Hmm.
Tennessee, Memphis.
Yeah.
Um, I was dating what was my first wife at the time, and then got out, moved down there, was there for a couple years, um, moved back to Virginia, sold cars for a little while I was
Yeah.
out. Um, she moved up there. Um, we kind of got married, got pregnant, kind of right at the same time.
Like kind of
while I
pregnant,
was no actual pregnant,
like real
like
pregnant,
full
full
pregnant,
pregnant.
full
Okay.
pregnant. Yeah, and yeah, she had the full pregnancy,
Full. Yeah.
and
Okay.
we moved back to Mississippi and had Austin, which is my oldest son.
Hmm.
So, and then it was kind of rough. Her and I were kind of toxic for a long time, and moved. I went back in the Navy, so they were trying to get people back in because when I got out, they were trying to get people out. So they were giving early retirements, all kinds
Oh.
of stuff, uh, and they realized, oh crap, we let too many people go, and they always do that. And then I came back in, and then shortly thereafter, we had been talking, and she moved back up there. Um, she, got pregnant. She was pregnant, I guess, roughly shortly thereafter, and then lived there, did a couple deployments, um, then finally just got separated and divorced. When Blake, my middle son, was he wasn't more than a couple years old.
Yeah.
So
What would you tell um, if you could go back and creep into that age Jeremy's brain, or a young man going through it now, young person, about navigating that kind of situation? Like, because it's I've been divorced,
mhm,
and worked through a hostile, very hard situation. And so a lot of people have,
mhm.
and or they're trying to figure it out. And so, what is it? What is it that you would tell someone going through that situation?
Man, you got at some point you're gonna have to listen to your brain and not, you know, you know, other parts of your body or even your heart.
Right.
Sometimes it's good to follow your heart and all that stuff, but sometimes you got to let your brain do some work, what it was designed to do, um, in whatever the situation. And you know, I had, I mean, I don't know if this is who's all going to see this, but there was a lot of times that I had people telling me, "Don't get married, don't do, don't," especially you're too young,
Yeah.
yada yada. Should have listened to a lot of people, and the blessing is I have my boys, Austin and Blake.
Right.
So a blessing can come from everything. Um, but when you're young and kind of that age, you're in love and you don't know what love is.
Mm.
So you're too young to know what love is at that point. And I think you need to just kind of hold back, wait, and really be observant and pay attention to things and get some life experience before you tie the knot because it should be final. Like that should be when you get married, it should be the last woman that you're ever with.
That's it. Yeah, my boss in college, one of my favorite people, his name is Brad Johnson. We all worked for him. There's all Fiji's fraternity boys that worked for him.
Hmm.
And every time we got old enough to get married, he'd be like, "I'll give you $5,000 to run away." I was like, "No, Brad, nobody ever took him up on it. It was tempting. Like $5,000 when you're 24 sounds like a lot of money."
Hmm.
But he was always like, "You're too young. You don't even know yourself, and you're gonna go try to hitch up with some other person that doesn't know themselves."
Hmm.
And it works out. But he would say that too, and
Yeah.
he would say, listen to your brain.
Yeah.
Like if there's any doubt, don't do it. And all of us, I think, that worked for him did well, married well.
Hmm.
You know,
But
it's
did
fine.
but did y'all get married like early? Like did anybody not heed his advice like at that moment and get married at a young age?
Well, we were all 24. Uh, I worked for him when I was 20 till 23,
Hmm.
and I got married 3 years after that. But I stayed in touch with him.
Okay.
He was very mentored because he was only like 10 or 12 years older than me,
Hmm.
maybe
So
when I started working for him. But he was wise beyond his years.
yeah.
His father passed when he was
Mm.
younger. But anyway, and he just owned the mentor role.
Cool.
And so
It's good to
no,
have somebody like that.
it yeah, and I
See, I
still
did not. I did not have anybody like that.
okay.
I mean, I love my dad and all that stuff, but he was, a 70s, 80s, a boomer dad. He worked
Yep.
all the
A
time.
little bit detached.
Yeah. So I mean, he, loved him to death, and I learned a lot from him. But it was more of me observing
Okay.
because he, again, always worked until we took a vacation somewhere, and that's when I got to see him.
Yeah. Well, can I dig in on that a
Sure.
little bit? Because my father was, I'm a little bit behind you, 10 years. Now,
Hmm.
how old are you?
No, you're not even that.
6 years.
I'm 51.
Yeah. So, well, I'm 5 years behind you. So
Okay.
we're roughly the same.
Yeah,
We had
real close.
boomer fathers, and we're both Gen X.
Hmm.
And my dad was an tough guy, but amazing. Gosh, like sometimes I look back and I think, how did I get that lucky?
Hmm.
To be born to him. Um, but there were a lot of things about those kind of guys that was made difficult to grow up with
Oh
them.
yeah.
So what do you think you do different? And this, what do you think you do different as a father because of how you were raised and how your father was?
Well, so with my first two, um, obviously I was in the Navy, active duty. I was deployed. Uh, I was that guy working a lot all the time, and then got separated. And you try to be as present as possible in their lives and call them and do whatever. Um, I'd go down and visit them, but so I was a different dad for them than I am for Noah now. So one, I'm he only had to experience a couple years of me being in deploying and being in the Navy.
Okay.
Um, I think he was born in 2010, and my last deployment was 2012. So I had done some debts and different things like that, but he never really had to experience me
Uh-huh.
gone all the time. So I try to be more present. After I retired, so Linda retired 3 years before I did because she was, for those who don't know, she's retired Navy hospital corpsman. Um, and then so once she retired, I kind of got the bug, started looking for RVs, like full time RV and van life and
Oh yeah.
schoolie life, all that kind of stuff, just going down all those wormholes. And I was trying to convince her, let's full time RV, let's sell
Yeah.
everything, get a truck and a camper or a driving camper and tour the country, get rid of everything. We don't need it. And she's like, nope, not doing it, until I took her to like an RV convention, at the convention center, RV show, trade show, whatever it's called. And walking through a fifth wheel in there, and she was like, oh my God, this is what you're talking about? It's like a mini house.
Oh yeah.
Um, so, long story short, we did that. We ended up getting a truck and a camper, hit the road, learn the full time life, and that's what we did. We sold most of our stuff. The rest we put in storage, in Virginia, and and hit the road, traveled the country, um, made it all the way to the West Coast. Was working our way kind of up and back. Then her grandma had an accident, so we ended up just kind of beelining to Ohio, and that
Yeah.
sort of kind of derailed our trip. So we did it for about a year and a half, solid full time RVing, and saw a ton of stuff. Noah got to experience a lot of things that most kids never get to see.
Yeah.
And when the Eric, the one that I saw, the podcast that you did,
Eric Hammond.
Eric Hammond,
Hammer.
he was talking about, he got like, his dad was traveling,
Yeah.
and they would travel all the time. And I was like, that's exactly what Noah got to experience. I was like, I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad for that. I'm glad that I've, got to be that dad to where we were trying to, somewhat free spirited, to at least go see things and do things. Kind of flipped it to where, most people in their 70s are RVing, and people we would run into more often than not were late 60s, early 70s, or
Yeah.
older in these campgrounds trying to back up a camper. It's tragic.
I can imagine.
Just setting up, and it's like, who wants to do that at that age if they can do it in their
Yeah.
40s? Or we were fortunate enough that we retired. I was still in my 40s, and we were able to do that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if we're able to do it, why don't we do it? And kind of flip flop that.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that we did
You
that.
do it again.
I would probably do it again.
Yeah. Do you think that kind of like Eric was talking about, his dad traveled them a lot, so that gave him that travel bug? Do you think that Noah will pick that up and move on to having some kind of adventuresome lifestyle?
I hope he does. I mean, he's a kind of a social butterfly anyway.
Yeah.
Some of that's just from me, and some of it's I think because he was just so used to having two parents that were there all the time with him and doing things.
Hmm.
When I was working, uh, Linda would take him, and then like Jamie lived across the street. Our friend Jamie Wallace, she lived across the street with her daughter Tinsley. They would go to the zoo like a couple times a week.
Yeah.
They would go do something around town. They were always taking him to do stuff, and then and then he was pretty young. He was probably third or fourth grade, I think, probably third grade when we started traveling. So he homeschooled. She was already homeschooling him. We his history lessons or his geography lessons and that kind of stuff were in real life in a
That's
lot of cases.
cool.
So he got to see the Grand Canyon, hike down into it a little bit. Some of these things that you'll see in the history in these not history books, but in these books, he got to see him in real life, and I mean I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
And hopefully he is. He's not a one. It's hard to get things out of kids. They don't as far as like
Good.
information.
It was good.
So
Yeah. I took you to see like Mars. Cool. It was good.
yeah, 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 it was neat.
Yeah, it's neat. Thanks. Thanks. Can we get food?
Yeah.
um, yeah. All right. So you did the camper life for a while, and now you got three sons. But
Mhm.
you have a daughter, and a lot of young folks out there who got married early are now working through blended families.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to a young man navigating that from two perspectives, from the father perspective, and the husband perspective?
So it's kind of the same advice, really, for both. You're not in those instances. You're not just marrying, you know, the girl, the wife.
Hmm.
Your future wife. You're not just marrying. You're marrying her. You know, her daughter comes with it. That
Hmm.
all comes as part of the package deal, and also whoever the baby daddy was, or if for females the baby mama, or the
Yeah.
other side of the equation, right?
Yeah.
That made that baby.
Yeah.
In most cases, I would say probably almost all the cases, it's going to be it's a little tricky. At best. That's saying it nice. It's probably going to be
Yeah.
kind of a crap show. It's going to be
We have a phrase at work. We call it SSFTGG.
you got to walk that one out for me.
Shit show from the get go. And it's just a little like hashtag. We'll put that in an email or a text. Like when we know it's about to go down,
Yep.
we can say that. I mean, this is a
So in
personal
both
show.
of our cases, it was like that.
Yeah.
It was very, very challenging. You're not only worrying about what your daily, issues and struggles are amongst yourselves, you're now got to worry about everything from the other sides, the other
Yeah.
parties involved. And it was
Sure.
like that for a long time. Um, Eventually her ex just fell off the face of the planet. Like he disappeared. And Olivia's not sad about that at all. And mine and my ex became amicable. So we are amicable now. We can have a conversation without screaming and yelling.
That's good.
Took a lot of years to get there.
Yeah. So my parents were divorced too, and it was not a good divorce. It was never. I mean, I think if they were both still alive, they'd both still hate each other.
Mm,
And man, I was 7, 8 when they divorced, and dude, it was brutal. My mom married right away, remarried right
oh
away, and
wow.
my dad dated right away before and right away. It's part of the problem. But man, like that was like, you're 7, 8 years old, and you think you don't even know what to think,
Yeah.
and because preaching at the choir, all half the people that hear this show will have lived that life. But
Hmm.
I just think about like, okay, if you're a young married person, you're hearing this, and maybe things aren't going well,
Hmm.
and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go get some papers.
Yeah.
Well, crap, man. Like work that out because you don't know a if it's workable, but like you got to think about what it's going to be like for everybody involved, like you, your spouse, your kids.
Mhm.
If you don't put that right, you
Yep.
know.
And that takes you back to before you get married.
There you go.
Use your brain. You know, I didn't do it. My current wife, Linda, she did not. We, for whatever reasons, everybody's got their own reasons for doing it. You know, if if you would just wait a little bit longer, if you would just make sure you're right,
Yeah,
and it's hard to do. I know, I understand that, but that just doing that for a little while longer and kind of really digging in and doing some examination of yourself and them
yeah,
could could make all that other drama go away,
yeah, or just prevent it completely.
prevent it completely.
Yeah, I just
So
what's like if you gave one word, couple words to that young man who was in the midst of a blended family, what would you say to him
as
to
far
to
as
to encourage him?
the like the dad or
Yeah,
husband, whatever,
he's dad, he's stepdad, dad, husband.
uh, patience um, would be the first one. Uh, Probably the biggest one. When Linda and I first started dating, and even up until like we were getting married, Olivia really did not like me. She was little, she was young, but
Yeah,
her dad had been filling her head with all kinds of stuff,
sure.
and you're gonna get that. Every couple I know that is in that same situation, the other side, 9 times out of 10, is gonna be filling that kid's head with
Hmm.
everything that is against you, like bad for you.
Yeah,
Just have patience, and I just kind of stuck it out, and it worked out. But now she doesn't even speak of her dad,
yeah,
and she calls me dad,
yeah.
and she changed her last name to my last name.
It took me. I never asked the question when we met because I'm a very polite and insightful person. Not really at all, but I was like, well, it looks like that's a blended family. But it took me years to ask, even ask Kyle. I was like, hey, is like what's the story there? Like, is Olivia Jeremy's daughter, or is it
She's a
stepdaughter?
little
Is it
dark to be my.
adopted? Like she doesn't look anything like him.
A little dark.
But I never would have known. Like if I hadn't we hadn't become friends and
Well, that's
whatever,
good.
I would
That's
never
how
would
it
have
should
known.
be, right?
I was like, well, she just looks a lot like her mama,
Yeah,
which is told
yeah,
us Noah.
yeah,
So he does have Noah has your nose
yeah.
for sure. Okay, so flash forward. Now you got your three sons, you've got a daughter. You've done the van life. And what made y'all get out of van life, RV life completely?
Noah.
Okay,
Well, after the whole thing with her grandma,
yeah,
um, that really kind of we sat in Ohio for a month and a half, 2 months, whatever, while she was kind of recovering because we were able to, and the rest of the family had full time jobs.
yeah,
Somebody had to be with her all the time,
mm-hmm,
uh, and then you kind of lose that adventure. You're not going all the
mm-hmm,
time, so um, when we hit the road again, when we started back up, it kind of just things were a little different. It seemed like we'd still did some more and saw some different things and traveled, but it derailed our kind of our plans of
yeah,
how we're going to see the out west and all that. Um, and then Noah was kind of kicking around. I'd like to go to school, play sports, you know, go to regular school, see what that's
yeah,
like. Um, so we listened. Really, I mean, we could have just said, well, forget it, you're not doing it. But um, then it was just a matter of, well, where are we going to settle down? Like,
yeah,
where is this going to happen? Uh, and we had kind of narrowed it down to, well, we had stopped here a lot. So, of course, Brad and Jamie, who are our neighbors in Virginia, are
yeah,
from Hartselle. They got out. He got out of the Marine Corps. They moved down here, um, and then we would come visit. And then we, of course, came to know both of their parents, moms and dads, Eddie and Wally and
yeah,
Angela, and um, you know we met everybody, and some aunts and uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, all this, the whole family. So we're like honorary Wallaces basically.
sure.
And Eddie would say, "Well, when are y'all just gonna buy a house down here?" So he would say that all the time.
Great question, Eddie.
So even after that, we looked. Well, it's either here in Hartselle because we'd spent so much time here, or Claremont, Florida. We were looking at because her mom lived in Bartow, which was, Claremont's right by Orlando,
Yeah, yeah,
and of course Disney, and Linda's a huge Disney freak. Um, and then so Claremont is one we were looking at. Great area. As far as like housing was awesome. A lot of house for your money. It's Florida.
yeah.
It's close to Orlando. She was seeing season tickets to Disney, uh, and then traffic was a little crappy, but the school sucked.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, that's the reason why we're stopping. We're not going to put them in a crappy school system.
Nope.
Virginia was okay. Let's go back to Virginia Beach. Kind of the same thing for us to live in an area in Virginia Beach that we wanted to live in. We would have both had to have get full time jobs, had to have gotten full time jobs, and that was something we did not want to do. I didn't want to be forced to work again. I would work if I wanted to, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in a position to where I had to work again. Um, so, and then at that time, politics were out of control. It was just crazy.
In Virginia.
It was like little California.
Yeah.
Um, so then that kind of just, call it divine intervention, call it God was just putting all those obstacles up there. So he's opening up doors here.
Yep.
Um, and then, I 1000% do not regret it. I think it was the best thing we could have ever done.
Yeah, I agree. The first time we met, Kyla had been going to football practice.
Mhm.
You were one of the coaches.
I was a parent that thought he was a coach sometimes.
Yeah, well, that happens in daddy ball a little bit. But Kyla was like, I was working, and so she would go to practice, and I'd get there, and I didn't go a lot. But anyway, she was like, my new friend Linda. And I'm like, everybody's your new friend, Kyla. Like
That's Kyla.
like everything's your new friend. But she was, no, really. So then I guess it was a birthday party, Rowan's birthday party or something. Noah came over. And it's the first time I met you, and I was like, I was a little intimidated because you showed up on my porch in a tank top, big beard, tattoos everywhere, and I was like, this guy is kind of intimidating. And so I was just like, well, that's okay. But then he turned out to be the absolute nicest guy ever, other than like Mr. Rogers. And so it was. I'm glad that worked out that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That y'all to land here.
Yeah, I think, and it's kind of funny. We've talked about it before. Like I was in the same boat. I was like, well, like he's like not like friend material because I think he's like probably too good to be friends with or whatever. Kind of. I kind of got that vibe. Like you were too. Like you had all your stuff in one sock. A little bit too much to be my friend because I need some people with like
Some loose edges.
some loose edges, and your first impression was not that. Like you were, I was like, oh well, you're probably hanging out with the elite crowd and Hartzell and all that, which you do, you do.
Listen, I was on the board of directors at the Chamber of Commerce for like
so
1 year, bud. I wouldn't. There's nothing.
you gotta hold your pinky
Well,
up.
they were holding. I couldn't hold my pinky up there. That's why I got out. They were pinky holder uppers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they were,
Not really. It was a good time for all the chamber people out there. But
yeah. And Kyla, for the first few years, she needs to run for mayor. I think Kyla should be the mayor of Hartselle.
she still might.
Good,
I'm gonna talk her into it. I'm gonna write her speeches.
good.
Okay.
Why is he looking at me?
So
What do you call the? So you would be the
first dude.
First dude.
By
What
that,
would Rowan be the first? Would he be the
I don't know what those kids are called.
if your mom is the mayor or your dad? What would you be?
You're
as
just
a
the
child?
mayor's son.
Yeah, the mayor's son.
I don't think there's a.
So every time you mess up, from
all-
that point forward, it's well the mayor's son.
It's gonna be on MySpace.
Oh yeah,
Constantly.
be all over the news.
All right, so let's dig in a little bit. So you're 51. I'll be 46 in 5 months, 6 months. So I'm 45 and a half. That's good math. We're looking at we're past middle age,
Hmm.
and most of our friends are. How do you navigate that? Because I'll tell a funny story. And this was advice given to me. I was 25 and this was advice from a 50-year-old man it was his birthday, and he was a coach. His name was Bob Weatherly in Tuscaloosa. His daughter was a track star down there. He turned 50, and I was like, Bob, what can you tell me about being 50? give me some advice. And he said, well, three things. Never pass a bathroom without using it. He said, never waste a boner and never trust a fart.
That almost ties into the first one.
Yeah, it does. And so I looked at him and I said, really? He said, trust me.
Every one of those things is true,
so, I thought
and
about
it's
that.
almost like fit like your body knows. Like, hey, you're 50 now.
Yeah.
You know, do the
Check this out. Watch what I can do.
yeah. Look what I can do.
So
Yeah.
so we're looking at both our sons are 16. And I think in terms of like what would I tell a young guy? Kyle and I talked about this in our first episode. What would we tell little Houston, little Kyla? But if you could go back and say, hey, listen, you young bucks, think about these things over your next 20 years. Do these things right now
Hmm.
to make your future easier. What would you tell that young married man about life?
For young married man,
Well, no, let's go back before
I'll
that.
just say even before that,
Just a young man. Like,
like
give some young man advice.
I'll say first one thing I did not do because I was spoiled to be in the Navy and have a retirement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Invest now as much money as you can. If you start making money, start putting it in investments. Do it now. That way, if you stop when you graduate or a couple years after you graduate, it'll still keep growing. And if you never do anything with it again, when you're getting my age and older, you'll have that nest egg.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully a lot more. Um, that would be as far as that goes. Uh, you pay for a lot of the decisions that you make. Um, you pay for them later in life. Things you do now, you pay for them one way or the other, or
Mm-hmm.
you're rewarded from them. It kind of goes both ways. And that physically, depending on what kind of lifestyle you're leading right now, if you're beating your body up, in your job or extracurricular stuff, you may not feel it now, but you will feel it when you get close to the 50. I can
No, guaranteed.
personal experience tell you that. I've noticed I have bones and joints that I didn't even know existed. And you don't stand up without making a noise. You know,
Yeah.
that's just comes with it.
Yeah.
Just maintain a habit of doing something physical every day. Some kind of exercise, movement. Do that. Mine for a lot of time. I played sports in school all through high school, but and then afterwards you kind of stop doing that
Yeah.
unless you're playing at the next level. And it's very easy to just get tied up in your job and you kind of lose that aspect of your life where if you don't take the time to go to the gym or if you don't go do some kind of exercise, some kind of movement, move every day. Just get in that habit to where it's second nature, because when it starts to get hard, and I'm speaking from somebody who did not do this the right way,
Right.
um, it's harder to develop that habit later in life than it is earlier in life. You might think it's hard now to get out of bed at a weird time or uncomfortable time or whatever, but trust me, it's a whole lot harder when you're older because your body is like, nah, and your brain is like, not today.
I ain't doing it.
Sport.
Yeah. Okay. So you touch money, you touch your physical. What would you tell a young man about his faith?
It's faith. Get into, man, we're fortunate. I think both of us are fortunate. Um, our sons have just kind of been brought up in it,
Mm-hmm.
so they see it firsthand. A lot of people out there do not get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just find a church. Just go to a church. If you don't like it, try another church. If you don't like this denomination, try a different denomination. Start on a journey to find God. You know, do it younger, and I'm talking to somebody who's not has nothing to do with, doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing? Just look at it from this perspective. What's the worst thing What if it sticks? You know, and what if you become a saved Christian?
Hmm.
You know, and people always try to doubt before any of it. You know, worst case, you find your faith. You know, that's the worst case. What'd you lose? What'd you lose out of that? You know, and that's looking at it from a just kind of a step back from a
Yeah.
nonpartisan
Just the X's and O's.
X's and O's. What's the very worst thing that could happen if you mess around and get saved? You know.
So you said it. You said a funny, not a funny phrase. You hear it all the time. You said as a young man should start on his journey to find God.
Hmm.
And this is not a spiritual podcast, and I'm not a spiritual leader that knows verses and whatever. I can get you down the road, but
Hmm.
but on a practical sense, like if you're a young man and you're not in that world, like that's not your lifestyle. What do you think? How do you tell someone? How do they know when they found God?
Oh, you'll know. I mean, you just know, you'll feel it. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
feeling. But even on the outside of that, just kind of getting into that with that crowd of people, and then that kind of path
Hmm.
down life, you become more optimistic. You know, everything doesn't suck all the time. The
Mm-mm.
world is not out to get you all the time. And you meet a lot of people like that, and probably who are of faith and everything. But I notice it more often people who are not even churched. Not that
Yeah.
they everything is against me, is evil. Everybody hates me. The Christians hate me because I'm this, that, or the other, and that's not true. But they don't know that because they've never even tried. They've,
Mm-mm.
they've never even been in that realm. They've never had a conversation with it. It's usually people on Facebook just kind of like throwing up all that
Yeah.
stuff. And we've got a few. Well, you're not on Facebook, but we have some mutual friends who are like that. Just know that on Facebook
Some.
they're like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, but I
Okay.
mean, yeah, just start that journey. Just try it out. You know, and if it's your time, it's your time. It's you will feel it. You know, God will put that on you when it's time.
Hmm.
He will put it on you so hard that you have no option.
Hmm.
You'll fight it, you'll fight it, you'll fight it, you'll fight it, and you'll notice that I feel miserable.
Yeah.
And then,
All of a sudden, I don't.
yeah. So
Like,
conviction, it's called. There's a technical term for it.
yeah, that's true. What would you tell a young man about friends and relationships, and the influence of those on you?
Uh, so what was that? I said last time, two things that you should never have to work hard for, never fight for, and that is true love and true friendship. Both of those should come naturally, you know. Um, and they're both of those, your friendship circle, your friends circle, your close, tight friends, like the ones that you would go to battle with, take a bullet for, whether or not you're the reason for getting shot at.
That's so true. That's
uh,
good.
that circle of friends should be tiny. It
Yeah.
should start very, very small, and then you expand it over time to ones who make the grade, basically make
Yeah.
the cut. And obviously, your true love should just be one person, but um, you should not have to fight for these. You should never have to beg for anybody's friendship, and you should never have to beg for anybody's love.
Yeah.
You should not have to. And a lot of people are married today because they begged to be married.
Yeah.
You know,
They thought
and
that's
they're
what they needed.
friends with the wrong people. Because they were just looking for acceptance by somebody. You you don't have to be accepted by. I mean,
Mm.
you shouldn't have, like, it goes back to, you just shouldn't have to beg for it.
I feel like in that particular arena, friends and relationships, if you can't get in the car with that person and drive for 2, 3, 4 hours and not say a word and understand in your soul that that's okay and that nothing's wrong,
Yeah.
then that's not your real person.
What's wrong? What's
That's
wrong?
not your real friend. It's not your real
Why are you
person.
not, why
Like,
are you not talking to me like we don't?
it's like, listen, shut up. I just enjoy your company. Like, I just enjoy you being near me, you know?
Yeah,
And to be fair, there's only a few people in the world I could get in the car with and drive anywhere for more than, more than
yeah.
4 hours. But I think it's
Much
important to,
less spend a few days in
yeah,
a different town.
yeah, different towns. So that's a good thing. And I'm sure there are probably other aspects. Let's do it. Let's do the lightning round.
Okay.
I was about to say there are other aspects of life that we probably should dig into. Maybe we will later. I know we're going to get into some group sessions with some of
Oh, cool.
our friends, you know, about
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
life, manhood. But let's do a lightning round. So we started this idea a while back of having the mancations,
Mm-hmm.
and not only like just going places doing things, but like getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna do these diamond tattoos. I think you're gonna get yours on your butt, or
I was
oh,
thinking lower back, just
lower
going,
back.
kind of going up my lower back.
Anyway, so we did
Bringing it back. I'm bringing it back.
bringing back the stamp. Oh gosh, no, we're not. You're not. I will not let you. You know, a good
That's a good
friend,
friend. That's a good
good
friend.
friends won't let friends drive drunk, and friends won't let friends get tramp stamps.
Lower back tattoo.
Not gonna happen. Okay, so let's do a lightning round of our mancations because and I'm saying this because I'm encouraging other guys to book random trips
100%.
and just go do random stuff that doesn't
Awesome.
pertain to
It's the
anything.
best thing ever.
Okay, so what was the first one we did?
And having significant others as your spouse, your wife, that will let you do those
That's important
without the third degree.
without any guilt or sure, go ahead, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
should mean that.
How was your trip? Was it fun?
Was it fun?
Did you have a lot of fun? I was sitting here cleaning the house.
Doing laundry, feeding the dogs. Dogs woke me up 5 times while you were having fun. Sure, go ahead. All right. All right. So mancations for real. What was our first one? What did we do?
New England.
Was that New England? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was business trip to see Mike Rowe.
We went to see Mike Rowe talk about bringing back the skilled trades.
Mhm.
That was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
We almost saw him except for the state troopers.
Yeah.
He was going to go with us.
Turns out they do not like it when you grab him by both arms and try to shove him into a car.
Well, we don't know that. We assume that would be the
I got
case.
that vibe.
Got that vibe by all the little Smoky Bears up there in New Hampshire. New Hampshire. But we went up to New Hampshire to see Mike Rowe for real. But it also turns out is the newly elected governor of New Hampshire was there with him. She was interviewing Mike Rowe. That was the real reason
really,
for all the
that's
Smoky
probably
Bears.
so. Yeah.
But that was a cool thing because we got to there was like 3,000 kids running around learning about skilled trades. So we flew from Alabama, I guess Birmingham, to New Hampshire, and stayed in Manchester for a night.
Yep.
Had a good cigar.
Yep. Really good cigar lounge.
It was a really good cigar lounge. It was a fun place.
Yeah.
Had some kind of food. We saw Albert Einstein or Ben Franklin, one of them.
Yeah. I think it was Albert Franklin.
Albert Franklin. Anyway, and so we did that, and then went down to the cigar bar, and we met some guys that told us what was that word they used about the leaves?
The leaf peekers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say we were leaf peekers, but we were late.
We were late.
We were late to leaf peeking season.
Okay, so do that. And then we missed that, but they told us the route to take, so we would know it next time, which took us up to Lincoln, New Hampshire. Had a cigar. No, well, we have lunch there.
I think we just had lunch there and then went on into what was the next state?
Well, there's the next. We went and had lunch, and then we've rode somewhere and had a cigar at some place on the way to Portland.
Yes,
Maine.
Maybe it was still in New Hampshire when we had that one at that cigar.
I can't remember. I think it
was way
was
up in the mountains. I mean, it was over there close to Maine.
Yeah. So did that, and then we got to Portland, Maine at night, which was really cool. Went to an actual speakeasy.
We did.
Remember that? Like
we did. That was really cool. My first ever speakeasy.
Like a real speakeasy.
A real one, not like the one in Straight to Ale kind of, which is just actually a legit speakeasy.
I mean, you got to move the lockers at Straight to Ale.
That's a good one. Actually.
But this one, like you went into down. There was a door that looked like fried chicken. Korean chicken. And everybody was giggling because you're like, where's the thing? It's right here. And they're all like, they said something. And we finally figured out, that's the door.
Yeah.
You go in and you go down there, and then it was like a room of doors.
Yeah.
With no knobs.
Yeah.
And
so
weird. You had to
we stood down there for a few minutes all right, now what do we do? Well, we got to call somebody.
Well, so there was an ATM inside the room of doors,
Yeah.
and then like somebody came out to go to the because it was an all cash bar.
Yeah.
That was cool. But we figured out then, oh, you gotta like find the little groove,
Hmm.
and so we go in that room, and it's like all stone and leather and like barely.
Like what it should be.
Oh, it was
Dark.
amazing. You could barely walk in there. Like I didn't have trouble, but
Well,
like
the door was,
the door was tiny.
yeah, real low. Yeah.
It was cool. So we spent the night in Maine, Portland, Maine. Got up the next day and drove to Boston.
Boston. But while we remained, we watched that
Oh,
pathetic Mike Tyson fight.
yeah.
We'll try to because Netflix was overloaded and it
Oh,
kept shutting
dude,
down.
it was so bad. And a terrible bar, but Portland, Maine was empty.
Yeah.
Like, there was nobody out except for us.
Yep, that's true. And then, yeah, the next morning, kind of hung out by the little marina down there, waterfront, and
Yeah,
had a coffee, and then hit the road.
yeah. Down to Boston.
Yep, that was so cool.
You know, were we on a train back? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. On a train back from Boston. Well, that's a good song though. It's very catchy. But we
It was more than a feeling, though.
So it was. No, man, that's not even the first mancation. The first mancation was going to see Journey with Johnny.
With Johnny, that's it.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was a good
Up
time.
in concert was in Cincinnati, but we stayed in Kentucky, across the river.
Covington.
Covington that was a cool little.
It was a fun
trip.
time. That was our first trip on the road together.
It is. That was the first one,
And
You're right.
solidified that we were bromates. So we did that. Then we did the New England tour.
Mhm.
Went to Boston. Went to another really cool cigar bar,
Probably even cooler than the
Cigarelli's or
some
something.
funny name that I can't pronounce.
Signetti's. I still have the
little
match from there.
That was super cool.
But got to see Boston. Got to see Paul Revere's house. And for those that have been there, like the cobblestone streets are like cobble boulders.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
cobblestones.
not comfortable.
That was cool.
We went into the world's first, the first pub in the country. I
What was
guess.
it called? The
Um,
Dragon?
there was something lamp or lantern or.
Yeah,
But yeah, that one, the Dragon something, was the first like restaurant in
went there too.
America. Yeah, we did.
Saw all that. What was the next? So then that was when we flew back home. What was the next one? Was it Vegas? Went to Vegas for the Scorpion.
Vegas would have been the next one, right?
Yeah,
Scorpions concert.
yeah, and
Found that really cool. Really cool place. What was it called? The Sand Dollar.
Sand Dollar.
Sand Dollar was awesome.
So we were at Caesar's Palace. We had a cigar, we had dinner and cigar at Caesar's Palace.
Mhm.
Caesar's Palace, and then we got it outside, and we were like, "Hey," to the bellhop. He's like, "Hey, man, where's a local place that no one goes?" And he's like, "Sand Dollar," and he told the cab driver.
Without hesitation, too.
He said he called the cab up and he said, "Hey, Sand Dollar." So we got in it and we were like, going Vegas. Who knows? You might lose a kidney or a spleen, or you might end up where you're going. Who knows? So we get there, we pull up, and it was like a movie.
Yeah, so it's like outside. It looks like a dive biker bar.
Yeah.
There actually was a couple Harleys parked
There
in
were.
front. And you walk in, and it's like a dive bar, but there's a band or a singer playing,
Hmm.
and it had like the Vegas sign in the back, but it just said the Sand Dollar on it. And then tell them about when we were standing there at the bar, what we're looking at down there.
So we got over to the bar to order a drink, and then I looked down, and they had all their liquor bottles, and there was on like literally side by side,
Side
man.
by
It was
side.
like that is a
Right in front of us.
right in front of us was Noah's Mill whiskey, and then Rowan's Creek.
Yeah.
Like literally like side by side, and I've had Rowan's Creek here, but like it was like, okay, so we got to have a shot of that, you know. or
And there
drink.
was like one drink left in each
Yeah.
bottle.
And
So
so
it was
we
like
had 'em.
meant to be.
It's Kismet. It's cool. And then in the back there was a cooler, like a vending machine
With the Rainier.
of Rainier beers,
Yeah.
like 16 ounce for $5. It
Yeah.
was crazy. And so it was just a cool experience. You had that big old, I brought 2 of those things home, Rainier cans.
Oh, the cans, yeah.
They didn't survive the airport. They just got beat up.
Oh,
They
I
got
was gonna say,
mashed.
did they take them?
No,
Oh.
it just got smashed. Anyway, that was a really good trip. The Scorpions concert was cool.
Yeah, it was. Still rocking.
Yeah,
Like
still
102
rocking.
years old.
Kind of weird. So old, but it was good. It was a good time. What was the next one we did? Key West.
Key West with
Okay.
a crew of us.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for a later
Yeah,
group, but
but it was awesome.
it was a good time. Again, there are only so many people in the world I could get in the car with and go somewhere,
Yep.
and not want to kill them. So
A lot of laughs on that trip. That was
yeah,
fun. That was a good trip.
good times. What's our next trip? We got something planned.
I think we have any. Well, it was no, that was a family one when we were gonna go to Montana, but that would have still been cool.
Yeah,
I don't think we've got one
we'll make one.
hard planned
We'll
yet.
make one
Figure
soon.
something out. But
Cool.
kind of just so every one of them now has been, well, this is happening here.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen. Let's figure it
yeah,
out. So it's been an event that has just random. Like, who goes to Vegas to watch the Poison? I mean, Scorpions. Like who does? Like it's like, hey, it's a reason to go to Vegas. Let's go
yeah,
watch, and it's a cool concert. The Mike Rowe.
yeah,
Hey, you work for the state and you do this kind of stuff.
yeah,
Let's make it a trip.
yeah.
Figure it out.
I think we tell all those stories, and maybe the audience is like, "Oh my gosh, that's boring," but it wasn't. But the point is, like, in your life, take the trip, do something spontaneous. You can work later, take the days off. I've got 8 months worth of leave, dude. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I really need about 1 month of emergency leave. So take the leave, go see the trip, go do something crazy, get out of your comfort zone. Go live, because I've got core memories of my life from each of those places
Yep.
we went. So
You got to do it. That's a great piece of advice.
yeah,
Do it if you have the opportunity. So just side note, I know we're probably running long on time. My middle child, Blake, him and his wife are about to go full time camping. Like
really,
they've had a truck camper,
yeah,
and he's got an F-250 that it sits in, and
okay,
so he quit his job there in Mississippi. He just spent a month and some change in Utah, uh, getting paid to do the stuff for the primaries out there.
oh yeah,
So, and he's got to see Utah and
yeah,
the landscape out there. Oh no, New Mexico, not Utah, New
okay,
Mexico. Sorry, New Mexico. Uh, but they're about to travel full time, and they've saved some money up, and kind of paid everything off, so they don't really have any big bills.
yeah,
So they're gonna go until that runs out, and then work camp or find stuff to
yeah,
do in the time. She does photography
oh
also,
yeah.
so
You take that
if she
anywhere.
can probably make a little bit of money doing some stuff like that, doing great landscape photos.
You think she'd photograph my feet? I got pretty feet. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean,
Sort of, not
I've
really.
tried, but you don't let me. So,
Okay,
so no, she can't.
that got really weird. Well,
Um,
yeah, but take the trip, go do the thing.
go do it, man. I've never tried to talk him out of it because I think he should do it.
Yeah,
Try it. Do it. You can always recover from things when you're younger. It seems like it's going to ruin your life if it goes wrong.
yeah.
But when you're in your 20s, and so, I mean, you will always recover.
It rarely goes wrong like that.
You can always do something else.
Yeah,
The older you get, the harder it is to make those decisions.
yeah.
So do it while you're young, especially. That's great. And then,
Love it.
yeah,
Cool.
parent parent advice. One last piece.
Oh yeah.
Where you try to be as a dad. So I was listening, and what reminded me of this, we just watched The Accountant last night, and the very last song on that is as it's going off is Sean Rowe, "Leave Something Behind." And I don't know what it is about that song, and before I even understood what he was saying, something about that song just mesmerized me and brought me to tears. Really, just listening to it. Maybe it's because of how he sings it or
Mhm.
whatever. But I was breaking down the lyrics and listening to it. And it's even then, it's still hard to kind of follow what he's saying. But it's basically what it is your job he wrote it after his son was born, or he wrote it for his son. He wrote it for his son, and I don't know if it was before or after he was born or whatever. But it was, you know, as a father, really as a man, try to leave something behind. So when the world's done with you, when your time on earth is gone, try to leave it a better place than what you found it. For one, leave your knowledge. It's all you can do. You know, don't take comfort in all the material things. Um, and fake money and all this other. all that stuff doesn't matter. You can't take it with you, and a lot of times you can't leave it.
Mm-hmm.
So and it doesn't. It compares nothing to the knowledge and that you can leave and your time as a human being for your family, for your kids. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I guarantee you, if you were to ask your kid, would you rather have your dad here still or the money that he left you? That he would say, I'd rather have my dad here. You know, so that that would be once you become a parent, especially you should do it anyway, probably just as a person,
Yeah.
but as a dad, and I fail at it every day. You know, I wish I did a better job earlier, but I try now to do more, and even still, I can do more. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, just try to instill values, leave your values. You know, um, teach your kids how to wrench on something. Teach them how to change a tire. Just the basic stuff. They should at least know how to do all that. Change the oil, change tires,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Um, how to treat people,
Yeah.
how to treat a lady. If
Mm-hmm.
you have sons, you know, if you have daughters, what to expect as a lady, you know, and then mom can teach her all the other stuff, the girly stuff.
All the
But
lady things.
she should know that she's worthy of having somebody who's going to treat her
Mm-hmm.
right.
You were the first model.
Yeah, and you can ask Olivia. I was not an easy person for the boyfriend to come visit. I was a jerk,
I can
you know.
imagine.
So so I was that dad, and she got so mad at me. She was like, "You gotta see my dad. You're gonna have to shake his hand. Oh, shake his hand. Gotta have the handshake." I was like, "Yes," and you should
Measures.
want that.
Yeah.
You should want. And her mom kind of went off on her. It's like, why wouldn't you want that for yourself?
Great question.
You know,
Great
like
question.
so. Do those things as parents. Do those things. Be the gatekeeper for your kids, in those aspects. So,
Solid advice. Solid
okay.
advice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing the dash of
Yeah.
Mr. Senior Chief Huff.
Yeah.
Those little kids, and when I was first teaching, they'd call me Mr. Coach Blackwood. I'm like,
Mr. Coach.
can you pick one? Anyway, good stuff, man. That's a whole other story. Tuscaloosa. All right, well, listen. Hey, thanks for real, man. Thanks for being
Yeah,
here.
man, it's a pleasure.
Hey, tonight we're going to see the Velcro Pygmies.
Velcro Pygmies.
Another
If
trip.
you're on.
What the
Yeah.
heck? Those
And a
guys
couple other people who are on like The Voice and something else. I don't know.
are they? Oh yeah.
One of them is on
I hope
one
they
of
brought.
those one of those shows.
I hope they bring it. It'd be good. All right, listen, cats out there, friends, family, listeners. We went a little bit long today, but man, sometimes that's what you got. You got to tell a story, and it's fun. So, thanks for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, and share on all your favorite podcast platforms. This has been another fun episode of the Best Dash Collective. Go live your life, please. Have fun. It's not all work. It's not all sad. Enjoy it. We'll see you soon. See you next time.
Right on.
Good stuff, man.